Welcome to the official Universal Disney Nuts podcast. If you're passionate about Central Florida theme parks like we are, then you've come to the right place. Now on to the show. Here's your host, Bill Balcerski.
Universal Disney Nuts. I am Bill, your host. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. UDN live from the Tiki Bar. We are back from a long hiatus.
Yeah, it's been a busy few weeks.
Yeah,
it's not over yet.
My God, craziness.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as you guys have known, we put out a little soundbite earlier that we took the Memorial Day holiday off to let the UDN staff to enjoy the holiday, and we had some friends that were staying with us for quite a while.
Yeah, 12 days.
12 days. So lots of craziness during that week, which was super cool. But we apologize for our time away, especially to those who are looking forward to hearing the podcast. We certainly appreciate you guys listening, and we are back at it.
We did spend some time in the parks, though. Oh, boy, did we spend time in the parks.
Yeah, we did. You did more than I did. But
well, yes. Did 2 days at Universal and full day at Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom and Volcano Bay.
Volcano Bay was really nice. They had one of those cabanas.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, folks, if you're going to do Volcano Bay, put out the extra money for the cabanas. It's next level.
It's so worth it. It really is.
So, introductions. Obviously, you know that voice, Miss Tanya.
Hi, everyone.
And of course, we usually have Dave Indy, but Dave Indy has been working like a dog.
Yeah.
So,
poor guy.
In the place of Dave Indy, we have our fearless leader, Miss Jennifer, is with us.
Yay! Hi, Jenn.
Hello. How are you?
Good, good.
Wow. How's everything up in Georgia?
Rainy.
Yeah, down here too. It is steamy.
Yeah, we got some rain that moved through, and now it's like you could feel your face, and it's
a little humid.
It's crazy, but thank you, Jen, for joining the podcast. We certainly appreciate it.
No
Dave
problem.
Indy being out, so
Anytime to pick on you, I'll take it.
yeah, I'm sure you will. All right, so moving on,
But isn't that what this podcast is all about?
Yes.
Is picking on Bill?
just abusing Bill. Absolutely.
Where?
Poor guy.
So we have so much to cover over the next hour or so with the podcast. So much has gone on since our last podcast that there's no way that we can catch up.
We would be here for like 3-4 hours.
God, it'd be like a 3-hour podcast. So we're going to touch on the newest things, and then we'll kind of talk briefly about some other stuff. Obviously, the announcement of revised mask policies, we'll get to that in a second. That's super cool, kind of going back to normal a little bit. Cool for the people who feel comfortable not wearing the masks and being around people who are not wearing the masks. Not sure how... not sure how people who don't feel comfortable with that situation are going to have feelings about it, but we'll move forward. The gondola's crashing again. We're going to talk about that little gem.
Get over it.
Yeah, I'm back on my
already.
soapbox, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, the gondolas have crashed. We'll talk about that. And of course, we've got some other fun stuff. Ice drama on the Velocicoaster.
Yeah.
How stupid can people be?
Extremely, apparently.
Seriously. With that being said, let's get into it.
All right.
Now, as you know, CDC has been updating their mask policies and updating their information coming out about coronavirus. And now with the introduction of vaccines, they are starting to ease restrictions. And here we are midway through 2021, and we're finally starting to get a little breathing room. So to speak. Little normalcy. So in May 29th, Universal announced that they're no longer going to be enforcing a mask policy.
For vaccinated people.
And they also did away with the temperature screenings.
Yes.
And they also are talking about, first it was just outside and you still had to wear it inside and then waiting in queue lines. Now Universal's saying that it's going to be no masks anywhere as long as you're vaccinated.
And it's on the honor system.
You knew that when Universal made that announcement that it was only a matter of time before Disney would follow suit.
Correct.
And Disney just released a new statement as of beginning tomorrow, June 14th.
June 15th.
Well, today's June 14th.
Yes.
Happy Flag Day to everybody, by the way.
Hey, happy Flag Day.
Yeah. It's a big deal for some, not so much for others. Not a lot of talk about it, but today is Flag Day. Disney comes out with their policy as far as that goes, and I'm going to go ahead and read it. This is the actual policy that was released by Walt Disney World. Within our communities, we encourage that COVID-19 guidelines have been adjusted and eased by the public health and government officials, paving the way for many businesses and industries to take positive steps forward. Since we have reopened, we've been very intentional and gradual in our approach to COVID-19 protocols. And based on recent trends, Walt Disney World will be making more adjustments to the measures, including physical distancing and face coverings. So as of June 15th, tomorrow, face coverings will be optional for all vaccinated guests in most areas. Face coverings will still be required of all guests on Disney transportation, including buses, monorails, and the Skyliner, if it doesn't crash.
Just stop.
While we will not require proof of vaccination, we expect our guests who are not fully vaccinated to wear masks on all indoor locations and upon entering all attractions and transportation. Guests must observe current policies on face masks until June 15th. Physical distancing, as you've seen, they've taken the tape off the ground and they're no longer enforcing that. They said that we will be relaxing physical distancing for all guests. This will be visible in places like queues, shops, restaurants, attraction boarding, transportation, and other theaters. It's important to remember that experiences and entertainments may still be operating at a limited capacity and may be temporarily unavailable because we're not quite ready to bring everything back yet. But we are optimistic and looking forward to the day that Disney pals and princesses are able to hug you once again.
Yay!
And then obviously they're going to continue with the COVID-19 cleaning, which they've done a phenomenal job with. All the Central Florida parks have done a phenomenal job with the cleaning.
Yes, they have.
And they encourage everybody to get vaccinated.
Of course they do.
So, a lot of people coming down to Central Florida. These parks have been packed.
Yes, they have.
Now, we had Rich and Barb and the fam stay with us for 12 days, and it was amazing to have them here.
Yeah.
The Tiki Bar was open and functioning at full throttle.
That it was. And the fire pit.
Which was exciting. And they did what the omen of the Central Florida theme parks, what you should not do. And I think we all learned a lesson, Barb, about that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're coming to Central Florida, and I'm going to repeat this at the end of the podcast, but if you're coming down to Central Florida, do not, let me repeat that for the people in the back. Do not come down here and try to do park, day after day after day after day. These parks will chew you up and spit you out. Okay, they're
Especially since it's been so hot.
They're going to win.
To take breaks.
The average person walks 12 miles a day in these parks.
Yep.
Now, unless you're a marathon runner, shout out to all my Run Disney peeps, you ain't gonna make it. And there is a real thing out there called the Disney rash. Have you heard about this? This is crazy. It's not technically called the Disney rash. It's just kind of like a really bad tattoo, right? It's just a name. But
it's a heat rash from walking around.
It's a combination of heat rash, and it's a combination of you being fat and out of shape, because it's muscle fatigue that leads to the rash. And a lot of people don't understand that once it hits you, like that woman we saw at Magic Kingdom.
Oh, she was bad. Like,
she was toast.
Her legs. Bill had the opportunity to talk to her because the whole back of her legs, like from ankle, well, actually her feet too,
all the way back behind her knees,
was bright red, swollen. And Bill was telling her because our friend Barb was getting the Disney rash, as were, a couple of other people. Basically, it's staying off your feet, being hydrated, cooling towels on them, try and keep the swelling down. And she was just like, no, because
we had
take
to give
3
Barb
to 10 days.
We had to give Barb a foot bath with Epsom salt just to try to control it a little bit. And for people who don't understand what the Disney rash is, it's not contagious. It's not something you catch.
No.
It is fatigue, muscle fatigue, because you're walking around the parks for so long. And then you're also in the heat.
And being dehydrated.
Mm-hmm. So it's a combination of those three. So you're walking around the parks all day, you're dehydrated, and, oh, by the way, you're in 90-degree heat. Those three combinations, you'll have this bright red rash that'll start at the base of your feet and go all the way up. Your legs are going to swell up like balloons.
Mm-hmm.
And for those people who think, oh, well, it's just cosmetic, no big deal, a couple hours later, you're going to have a hard time walking. Because
that can lead to heat exhaustion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, once you get the Disney rash, it takes 2 to 14 days for it to go away. And that is your body telling you you have overdone it.
Yep.
And if you're coming down to the parks and you get the Disney rash on day 1 and you still have 4 parks to go, Barb.
Leave Barb alone.
You're going to have a problem. So
there were some breaks in between.
I think it's wise to tell everybody, listen, it's the summertime. These parks are packed. Everybody's trying to get back to normal. Everybody's trying to have a good time. We get it. But if you're going to do this and you have limited time off, you're going to have to either limit the amount of parks you go to or take it easy and take a lot of breaks during your park stay. Mm-hmm. We don't recommend that you go
lots and lots of fluids.
Absolutely.
Electrolytes, whatever you need to do.
What we don't recommend is you going park to park to park to park to park 4 days, 5 days in a row. Okay? Because at the end of that 5th day, you have run the equivalent of 2 marathons.
Yes.
And you're going to be toast. Now, if you're in shape and you run 2 marathons, more power to you. Have at it. But at the end of the day, when you're used to doing 7,000 steps a day and you wind up doing 28,000 steps a day, and then you got to do 28,000 steps the next day.
That's a lot.
And then you're doing 28,000 steps the next day.
I've done half marathons and stuff like that. And we were doing like 20,000 steps a day, and I was tired.
Your body's just not used to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So be careful. So we're going to move on. So no more masks at the park. Super exciting. A lot of people coming down.
Yeah. There
if
are
you're
still
vaccinated.
quite a number of people that are wearing their mask to the park. I know when we went to Universal, we didn't wear masks. And let me tell you, what a game changer that was, especially in 90 degree plus heat.
Yeah, these masks are really hard to wear
in
the heat. Without a doubt.
Yeah. But there was still quite a number of people that were wearing masks. And obviously, in Disney, you had to wear your masks in queue lines and on the rides and then on the transportation. If you were walking around outside, you didn't need your masks on, which helped a lot. But once you got inside to a queue line, you were required to wear your masks and everything. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow where we don't have to wear that.
Yeah, and I think they're going to start bringing down the plastic dividers too. I don't know if you saw that, Jen, but the plastic dividers that are in most of the rides, especially the one that was over by inside Mexico, that little boat ride? They had the shields up, and man, if you were claustrophobic, you did not want to be part of that.
Yeah, because those lines were narrow to begin with, but...
Yeah, there's been stuff all over Facebook about this ride and that ride taking down the dividers, so...
That's good.
And it gives you a very claustrophobic feel,
mm-hmm.
Especially if the lanes are small. Because if you remember the last time we rode that Mexican boat ride, mm-hmm. which is phenomenal, by the way, highly recommend it.
Oh, and the figures are back at the end.
Yes, the figures are back at the end.
Yeah, so yay!
Donald and the 3 amigos. But it was uneasy because you felt like you were being kind of boxed in. And
See,
for
it
somebody
didn't
who
bother me, but I'm sure anybody that is claustrophobic is not going to be very happy. Thankfully, the line was moving pretty fast, so.
right. And speaking of claustrophobic, let's move on to my favorite ride system.
Oh, good Lord. Just
Yes,
let
ladies
it
and gentlemen.
go already.
Here we go.
We need to have a little cue button on there with Let It Go from Elsa.
No.
Yes, specifically that I can push.
Yes.
Let it go, let it go.
Okay, Elsa,
I
settle
know,
down.
you act like
Here's the
it's
thing about
like
this
a
gondola
plane
ride system.
Crashing into a building. It's not. They just went boom.
Okay, hang on a
It
second.
wasn't like anybody got
You ladies need to
hurt
check
or-
yourself
You need to check yourself.
because I will tell you one thing right now.
This is getting old.
It is getting old that this ride system is constantly crashing.
It's not constantly crashing. It runs from like 6 o'clock in the morning till like 12 o'clock at night.
There's a reason
Constant.
why these gondola ride systems have the nickname death boxes. There's a reason.
Whatever.
And it doesn't necessarily have to do with the crashing. See, the crashing is the byproduct of it. The actual death box is when we start talking about the heat problem. We'll get there in a second. So once again, the gondola ride system has crashed.
And once
this
again,
time,
nobody was hurt.
Daddy speaking, stand by.
Oh, don't you even. Oh, you just wait till
So-
this podcast is over, mister.
Buzzer.
Right?
So the ride system gets crashed yet again, this time at the Epcot train station, or the Epcot ride station, marking the third time since it's opened in 2019 that the ride vehicles have had an accident. Disney once again dodges a major bullet to the fact that no one was injured. The crashes prompt yet another investigation, which might lead to changes and inspection of the entire system. As you know, that the cars are already going through a refurbishment and the ride was brand new in 2019. So there's issues there. Now, when we talk about death boxes and we talk about the reason why I'm so against this gondola ride system is exactly what we just talked about.
Except that thousands of people ride it every single day.
Yes, but it's
at
only going to
Disney.
take one incident for this to change everything. And I'll tell you why. You're in the parks, you got Disney rash, you haven't been drinking water because you're an idiot, you've walked 26 miles in one day, you're on the borderline of exhausted, and you're 86 years old. Now you climb
first
on.
off, an
Let
86-year-old
me finish.
person is not.
So now you climb on this gondola ride system, and now you're at the highest point, and you're halfway from point A to point B, and the ride breaks down. It's 2:30 in the afternoon. It's 93 degrees. There's no air conditioning on these gondolas. The ride air system, the system has to be moving to provide air to you. If they're moving, they're providing a healthy amount of air. While I agree that the system works well when they're moving,
Let it go.
the
Let it go.
downside of it is they have to be moving for you to get air. So now you're sitting in this death box, 93 degrees.
Nobody
you're already
has died on
dehydrated.
them.
It's going to happen. It may not happen today. It may not happen tomorrow. It's going to happen. And that's the reason why I call them death boxes.
Whatever.
So,
Move on.
shocker.
Is he done yet?
I don't know. I need my popcorn.
You people. Okay, moving on. Speaking of something really,
Thank
really
God,
messed up.
finally.
Obviously, Velocicoaster's in the news. Jen's going to talk about the Velocicoaster, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the Velocicoaster during Random Topic, but this ride is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, next level.
Depends who you ask.
Right. And of course, our podcast host, Jenn, and going to talk about it, but our other podcast host, Tanya, has actually been on the ride, and she's going to give us our firsthand opinion about it when we get to Jenn. However,
Keep you in suspense. Da da da.
we had an incident last week with the Velocicoaster due to stupid people.
Oh, I know. What, really? Teenagers? What the heck are you thinking?
Yeah. So,
Morons.
disturbing story at a Universal. A couple of teenagers were caught throwing ice cubes at riders as they passed over them. As you know, there's a part
Cupfuls of ice.
that there is a inverted roll as part of the ride that goes over a walkway as you progress through the ride system. And when you're traveling close to 70 miles an hour, it's no wonder no one got hurt. But what these kids were doing was, as the coaster was flying by, they were throwing ice up and trying to hit people. Now, ice, 70 miles an hour, probably is going to do some damage.
Yeah, to not only people on the ride, but it ricocheting off of said car back into people that were standing in line.
Well, thankfully, no one got hurt, seriously hurt. There was some people that got hurt. The kids were caught, ejected, and banned from the park. They are no longer allowed to be at Universal, which I completely agree with.
Absolutely.
This undoubtedly is going to lead to some kind of safety protocol that's going to prevent people from doing this in the future. I'm thinking they're probably just going to put plexiglass up so you can't throw anything.
Well, they're going to have to, they'll make it higher because there's already a good sized wall there, but they're going to have to make it higher to prevent idiots like this from doing
And it's
that.
just, like stupid people are ruining good things once again.
Of course they are.
I don't understand what their thought process was. Like, hey, let's see if we can hurt people. Like, I don't understand what the deal is there. I mean, that was really, really stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So, great job, guys. You're permanently banned.
I would like to know what the parents' reaction was when they found out their kids had done that.
Yeah, well,
I don't think we'll ever find that out, unfortunately.
I think the parents are actually, they weren't with them in this incident, but.
No, because wasn't it a school trip or like a graduation trip or something like that?
I'm not 100% sure, but it was just.
It was some type of school trip, I believe. 2
or 3 people that were all walking around. So, yeah, needless to say, they're going to do something about that. It's stupid people. So, moving on to other news, it is with much sadness that we have to announce that the very talented actor Ned Beatty has passed away yesterday from natural causes, not anything like COVID or anything. But Ned Beatty has been around forever, and you know him from all different kinds of movies and TV shows and everything else. He's survived by his 4th wife, Sarah Johnson, 4 kids from a previous marriage. And so you may remember him from the movie Deliverance. Sure got a pretty mouth, boy, right?
Why did I know that was going to be like the first movie he brought up?
Well, that was his most popular movie. Thank you very much. But you also remember him from All the President's Men and Superman. You remember him in Superman. Mm-hmm. Some TV shows he was on, Gunsmoke, back in the day.
Yeah.
You younger people are going to have to
look that one
up. The Rockford Files.
That was a
Remember
good
that?
show. I liked that show.
Hawaii Five-0.
The original one.
Yeah.
Not the one I'm sucked into right now.
Yeah, you're sucked hard into that show. Hunter and DeVecchio, as far as many, many other TV movies. Where he comes into Disney is that he was the voice actor to the very popular purple teddy bear named Lotso in Toy Story 3. Prayers go out to his family. He was 83. So we're going to miss him. All these great actors are getting to the point where they're going away and leaving us, and most of them will never, ever be replaced. So rest in peace, Mr. Beatty. Thank you for everything you've given us. We certainly appreciate it. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the peanut butter to our jelly.
Oh, are we going down this road again?
The locks to our bagels.
Oh, my gosh.
The sticky fingers to cotton candy. Ladies and gentlemen, our fearless leader, Jennifer.
That was quite the intro, Jen.
Oh, my Lord. See, it's religious enough being on the podcast just to hear what you're going to come up with for my introduction every time I'm on here.
Right. I think he has to make up for not being able to say your last name properly.
Truth be told, that's getting old. That's getting old. So, we got to move on to other things,
Wow, Bill's letting something go? What?
I'm just going to call her Webb from here on out. I'm just going to call her Webb, What you got for us, Jen?
Well, like you were talking about with Velocicoaster, June 10th, it officially opened to the public. By 10 a.m., wait times were reported at 240 minutes with the queue.
Absolutely.
Which is funny is because they were nowhere even close to that when they were doing the soft opening or the the technical rides and stuff like that. I mean, they never even hit over an hour.
Yeah. I think that's also because they kind of stagnated those invitations they sent out too, so that not everybody could get in for the soft opening on the ride.
Right.
And there were several times that it was just shut down while they went through some cycles and tested things. So it's not like it was running continuously.
No.
But yeah, the queue I heard was all the way over to Kong at one point.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty long.
Jeez.
So
That's crazy.
Unfortunately, Mr. Balsarski missed out on his free churro because everybody who exited the ride got a free churro on opening day.
Horseshit.
Aw, poor Bill.
I couldn't even go on the ride, so I mean, it's not like I would be able to take advantage of that anyway. But
Well, I'm sure Tanya would have gotten one for you.
Absolutely, because I don't eat churros.
Tanya, how was your experience on Velocicoaster?
There was a lot of swearing involved.
for those of you who don't know,
Oh my gosh.
Tanya had a chance to actually get on the roller coaster. Rich and Barb and the family were here, and they went to Universal from the first part of their vacation. And the only ride that Rich wanted to go on was this Velocicoaster. And we were concerned that they were going to shut it down for a couple of days prior to it being reopened on the 10th.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
that was
I knew they were going to. I knew he would get on there.
and that was during the time that he was here. You know what I mean? And they don't get a chance to come to Florida very often. So he really, really wanted to get on this coaster. So
Yeah, we were there June 1st. So.
Yeah. So they were able to do so.
Yeah, Barb, Rich, and myself all rode it.
And so what was your opinion of it?
It's absolutely terrifying. As I said, there was a lot of cursing involved.
From what I've heard, it's extremely
my God.
fast.
It is very fast. And even because, I mean, we've seen it testing on the ground, and it does not look as fast as it feels when you're on it. Holy crap. Like, you're just flying through, like, all of these curves and twists, and, you go up over and curve. Oh, my gosh. Like, you're doing the inversions. And let me tell you, like, when they had said that they designed the lap bar to make you feel uncomfortable, yeah, that's the understatement of the freaking century. Because I was more than uncomfortable. Like, I was freaking terrified. You go through that last inversion, like, you don't realize how long you're upside down for.
Yeah.
Until you only have that lap bar. Like, I was literally hanging off of the chair, like, onto the lap bar. I mean,
oh my God.
It was freaking terrifying. And there was a lot of 4-letter curse words coming out of my mouth.
I can imagine.
You say that Rich was like crying when he got off of there.
Rich was borderline crying. I mean, there was, unconfirmed reports that Rich got off, and he was so emotional from the ride that he had actually a tear in his eye.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's an awesome ride, but it is absolutely terrifying. And
which is kind of the theme, right? I mean, you're being chased by velociraptors, and they're trying to kill you.
Well, yes.
So I think that kind of goes with the theme of the ride, right?
Yes.
Would you say that the Velocicoaster is the best roller coaster in Central Florida?
As of right now, yes.
I haven't been on the ride, but I can tell you from what I've seen in the videos I've saw, yeah, I would agree with that.
Now, when you're in the queue, it's, really cool. They've got, velociraptors that have, they're muzzled and stuff like that. And they are so lifelike. I mean, it's...
If you go on YouTube,
scary.
You can see a video of it.
Yeah.
Both the ride and the queue line.
Mm-hmm.
And what I thought was very interesting was not only the muzzled velociraptors, but that one scene where they're racing by and the one stops to look at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought that was really cool how they did that.
Yeah. And then when you're about to get onto the ride itself, there's a huge screen in the main room. And, and they're doing, the introduction and, there's the trainer of the Velociraptors and, he's like, this is just a bad idea. And it was actually really funny listening to that whole show.
Yeah, if Tanya had known beforehand, she'd be like, yep, bad idea.
Bad idea.
Yeah.
And then, of course, then you get on the coaster and holy crap. Now, to tell you, like, how serious they are about, like, the safety on this ride and everything, there are lockers before you get on, and you have to take everything off of you. Phones, like hats, sunglasses, change, like anything that you have on you that is loose needs to go in this locker. And you go through a metal detector before you even get to
The staging
the rest
area.
of the staging area. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I can tell you from what I know from the ride, you're pulling close to 4 Gs.
Yeah,
It's insane.
It was very fast. It was very terrifying. I'm surprised that I'm surprised I didn't piss myself, to be honest with you.
My God, woman.
I'm sorry. There's probably somebody out there that has pissed themselves on this ride. I'm telling you.
Really?
Yes. Sorry to be so graphic, but I'm just telling you how it is. It is.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The best description you could possibly have from Velocicoaster. Tanya pissed herself.
I did not piss myself. I'm surprised I didn't.
That's the kind of quality show you're getting nowadays, folks. There it is.
Oh, stop. And apparently, if you want the most intense part of the ride, the last car left seat is supposed to be like the most intense experience on the entire ride.
Because you get whipped around more,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So
that's what I've heard.
if anybody
People
really
on
wants,
Facebook.
yeah. So there you go.
There you go.
It was, yeah, it was pretty terrifying. Just have to put it out there.
Noted.
Did it and done.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of torn as to whether I would ever do it again. Like, if there was friends that were coming down and they wanted to do it, then I would probably go on it again. But, like, if Bill and I went by ourselves and I had the opportunity to ride it, yeah, no. I don't
No.
think I would.
If I could get away with it, I'd do it. But, you know.
I'd be waiting at the exit for you.
Yeah. All right. What else you got, Jen?
Well, to stick with the Jurassic theme, Bravo now joins Blue at the Jurassic World Raptor encounter.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
And the way they have it set up, you know, the raptor comes out of the bushes and scares people when they're taking the pictures. Well, I saw a really cool video today on Facebook about a family that got like a little magical moment, and Blue actually walked out to them, and it was really cool.
Wow.
Wow, that is awesome. Yeah, while Barb, Rich, and I were on the Velocicoaster, Amelia and brought her two kids, Zane and Anna, to meet Blue. Yeah.
It did not go well.
It did not go well.
I think Zane freaked out. Anna was
Zane
running.
Freaked, and one had nothing to do with it. Anna did better, but Zane was not happy about it at all.
Just 17, and she probably dropped on the floor like a baby and back in fetal position. She'd be like, nope.
Very cool.
But they do have another opportunity if you think it's going to be too intense for the people in your party. You can also meet two of the baby raptors.
That's what we got to do the one time, because Blue went in for, her rest, and they brought one of the baby Velociraptor. Well, I didn't want to meet the baby Velociraptor. I wanted to meet Blue.
Blue is certainly more popular, isn't he?
So still have not met Blue the Velociraptor, but anyway. someday.
day. So, yeah. Let's see. June 7th, Universal celebrated its 31st birthday.
Wow.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
It was what, 1990, right?
1991 technically, but yeah, 1990 is being credited with it. But yeah, they are about 20 years behind Disney, but they certainly have made their impact here in Central Florida. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
I found a really cool article this morning that I'll post later today called The Evolution of Universal Orlando, and it kind of goes in stages from like 1989 to 85. And how it opened and what rides, and then it goes from that to 95 to 2002 and what was replaced, and from 2002 to the present. It's really kind of a cool article because it kind of gives you a timeline and it makes you think back to, I remember those things, you know.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so
Well, looking forward to reading that then.
Yeah, it's a neat little article. I just stumbled across it. I'm like, oh, I'm going to post that later today.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so of course, the next big question for everybody is Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah.
HHN 30 Never Go Alone is the name of the event this year.
Never go alone, huh?
Yeah.
Oy. That's a little ominous.
Yeah, it should be very interesting.
Yeah, it's September 3rd through October 31st. Right now, they've only announced the Beetlejuice house. I've been checking the website daily because everybody's anticipating that to fully open up now that Velocicoaster is open. So.
Yeah, Velocicoaster definitely has held the headlines here for the last couple of weeks, but we are going to hear about Halloween Horror Nights ad nauseum.
Yeah.
Starting very soon. Because I remember 2 years ago, not last year because of COVID, but 2 years prior to that, they started advertising for Halloween Horror Nights like in May.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, guys, you're not even opening Halloween Horror Nights till September. Chill.
Yeah, it was like ad nauseum that you heard about.
And then the wait for the lines for the haunted houses were like 2-3 hours. It was ridiculous. So maybe
Imagine
COVID
what
will
it's
change
going to
it.
be like this year since they didn't do it last year.
Yeah, it should be very, very busy.
Yeah, they only had, 2 houses last year, and both of those are coming back again this year, apparently.
Yeah, obviously.
So.
I think they probably wanted to continue the tradition of having Halloween Horror Nights, but they knew it was going to take a lot. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, last year was kind of a funky year, so.
Yeah, but we expect those tickets to go on sale any day now, and we'll announce it as soon as it does, and we'll start announcing the booking packages that they have so that we can help people book those trips as well. And we'll talk more about that later on at the end of the podcast, too.
Sweet.
One more thing that just popped up in my newsfeed about an hour ago, there's a new quick service food venue opening tomorrow called Bend the Bow. It will feature items that fuse popular Asian cuisine with diverse ingredients like crab cakes, pork belly, kimchi, fried chicken, and more.
Yeah, some of that food looked really good.
I know. The pictures that I've seen, oh my gosh. I was like, I just ate lunch and I'm hungry again.
So it's a high-priced Chinese joint.
Pretty much, yes.
But it's up on the second level. Like, it's going to be part of, like, the fast food kind of stuff, right? Yeah.
I'll take a General Tso's number 2 to go, please, with a large Diet Coke.
No, that's going to be like Panda Express.
Oh, my bad.
So, yeah, it opens tomorrow, and it'll be open 10:30 to 11, and it's next to the movie theater.
Sweet.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, thank you, Jen. Greatly appreciate that. And with the conclusion of Jen talking about Universal news, we get the honor and privilege to bring in the lovely Tanya with your Disney news. Did you note the sarcasm? Did you hear the thunder?
Yeah, I am.
I don't know, Jen, if you heard the thunder when you were talking, but we
It's been on and off thunder all day, so
it's like Garth Brooks down here, man. The thunder's rolling here. So
I heard it a couple of times, but I wasn't sure if it was you or me because we've got a storm coming through right now too.
It's us.
We've had light rain all day today, but this one, lots of boomers, lots of lightning.
Yeah.
So
But that's par for the course this time of year. I mean, it is summer in
True story.
Orlando, so nothing new.
Speaking about par for the course, go ahead, honey.
Why, thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate the introduction.
Hashtag sarcasm.
Yeah, well, you know. So, with the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival concluding on July 5th, that means it's time for the International Food and Wine Festival. Woohoo! Yay!
Now, the Flower and Garden Show is amazing,
It is.
but it cannot touch the Food and Wine Festival.
It cannot.
I think that's got to be Epcot's biggest festival they have.
Yeah, it's running 129 days this year.
Good God.
So it's being presented this year by Corksicle.
Bless you.
Thank you.
What is Corksicle? Seriously, what is that?
It's a company. It's a wine company. I don't know what you want me to.
Corksicle.
Corksicle. Corkcicle.
Maybe they're just doing like wine pops or something.
I was going to say they probably sell wine popsicles.
Like bubbly drinks and that kind of thing. So
Corksicle is
champagne
a company that makes
kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Things
ahead.
like
Finish your
insulated
story.
tumblers, coffee mugs, coolers, barware, canteens, and more. So
like Tervis.
essentially, but a lot of their stuff is geared more towards wine and things along that.
Okay, so they're sponsoring the Food and Wine this year.
Yes. The dates of Food and Wine are Thursday, July 15th, which UDN will be live
Probably on several occasions.
on several occasions, but I will be there for opening day. So, yay.
Shocker. You see the shock look all over my
Yeah,
face,
I
right?
do.
Okay.
So I will
Just throwing it out there.
So tune in as we go live on Thursday, July 15th from Epcot for the opening day of the Food and Wine Festival. And it will be running till Saturday, November 20th. So you've got a lot of time to make your way over to Epcot to partake in all of the festivities. Some details.
Hey, Tanya.
Yeah.
Also, for Tasty Tuesday tomorrow, we're going to be featuring the foodie guide for that.
Oh, sweet. So this will go hand in hand with that. Awesome. Some details we already have. There will be 32 global marketplaces, 9 of which that are going to be opening on October 1st. So people that, have been there in July, August, September, they have something new to look forward to in October to try. Eat to the Beat concert series is still not returning, but on Friday through Monday evenings, they will be featuring live music concerts consisting of local bands.
Why would they have local bands but not Eat to the Beat? Because the artist won't come?
It might be that or the cost of, I don't know. I mean, they may have already had, other concert series stuff already booked because everything is getting back into the swing of things this year with people already doing a bunch of different concerts everywhere. So I don't know.
Boo.
So hopefully maybe next year, Voices of Liberty, Mariachi Cobre, and Jammin' Chefs will continue to perform as well throughout the day. With Corksicle being the presenting sponsor this year, if you visit the Shimmering Sips Global Marketplace and 4 other locations during the event, you'll discover several sparkling beverage options available for purchase in an exclusive keepsake Corksicle beverage container.
With that much time, you should be able to get through that whole booklet.
I would think so.
Like we struggle to get through the booklet at times. Like we only try maybe 1 or 2 things in each place, and even then we don't get to everything.
Well, and there's stuff that I don't want to try. Obviously, I'm not going to drink the beers, and there's always a ton of beer. But
Yeah, but at the end of the day, though, with the amount of time that you have with this festival, you should be able to knock out that whole book.
I would think so, especially local people who go pretty frequently, because you can go after 4 o'clock and 4 or 5 o'clock. It's usually open till 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Sure,
So
sure.
You missed the hotter part of the day. Remy's Ratatouille Hide and Squeak Scavenger Hunt returns, as does Emil's Fromage Montage visit. For Emil's Fromage Montage, you have to visit and purchase 5 participating dishes from select global marketplaces, and then head over to Shimmering Sips for a prize.
Yay.
So that will all be returning. And speaking of Remy's Ratatouille, October 1st is the premiere for the ride. So you have that to look forward to as well.
October 1st is obviously when Disney starts celebrating their birthday, right?
Yes.
50 years.
50 years for the Magic Kingdom. And it's also the birthday of Epcot. And I think that's going to be 36 years.
And truth be told, Ratatouille is actually done and tested already.
Yep.
But they will not open it until October 1st.
Yes.
So it'd be interesting to see. We're certainly looking forward to that.
Yeah. I am definitely excited about it. We do have reservations for October 6th for Epcot to be able to test out Remy's Ratatouille adventure. So, yay.
That's how it works. Tanya makes the reservations, and she just kind of lets me know on the back end where I'm going and what I'm doing.
Yep. You're surprised by this? Why?
No, not at all. What else you got?
All right.
That's why the woman is in charge.
Absolutely.
Yeah, keep dreaming that.
Some more restaurants are reopening. Sebastian's Bistro at Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort reopens on June 24th with nightly walk-in availability through July 4th. Bookings available now for reservations starting on July 5th. The popular Ohana at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort reopens on July 9th with reservation bookings available to be made now. I have heard that there are already several nights that are sold, or breakfast and dinner that are sold out. So if you want reservations there, make sure you're getting on it quickly.
Yeah, Polynesian is going to be very popular when it reopens.
Yeah, they will be offering their all you care to enjoy breakfast and dinner. Initially, Disney characters will not be hosting breakfast, but a strolling musician will be entertaining guests at dinner. So hopefully, with everything starting to open up and everything, we'll get more of the character meet and greets back, and it would be nice. Over at Disney's Animal Kingdom Park, Tusker House Restaurant will be reopening on June 20th with Thank you. With bookings for reservations available now. They will be serving family-style menus for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Also at Animal Kingdom, additional quick-serve locations are now open as well. They are Terra Treats for pizza slices, Isle of Java, obviously coffee, drinks, and stuff along that line, Trills Bites, which is Dole Whip Orange, and Drinkwalla snacks and frozen beverages. So those are all open at Animal Kingdom now.
If you are into Animal Kingdom, highly recommend you go check out the Animal Kingdom Lodge. It is amazing. The restaurants there serve very unique food.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that it's not something you normally would see, but it's very cultural appropriate for what they're trying to do for that area. And it's very, very good. So,
yeah, this does the Tusker House offers a lot of that as well. So.
They've got a great reputation too.
Yeah, definitely want to check that out. Over at the Boardwalk, now open is the Boardwalk Ice Cream Shop. So I'm wondering if that is where, oh shoot, what was the ice cream shop that was over there that they were supposed to open another one over at Disney Springs?
Yeah, those.
Oh, Ample Hills.
Yeah, Ample Hill.
So I'm wondering
they both
if
got
that's,
trashed.
Yeah, well, that they were in trouble long before COVID even hit. They were filing for bankruptcy back in January of 2020. So, but I'm wondering if that's where the Boardwalk Ice Cream Shop is now, is where Ample Hills was. We'll have to go over there and check it out.
We will investigate and report back.
And speaking of reopenings, the Boardwalk is set to reopen July 3rd. And the Polynesian Resort is late July 2021. So that will be opening up sometime at the end of next month as well. So 2 more hotels that we're getting back. Yay!
Well, Boardwalk's not technically a hotel, but it's a very cool area to be, and we certainly have missed it during COVID.
But the boardwalk is fun to walk along, and all the shops and everything else going on down there. So glad to see things are finally getting back to some normalcy. And
Slowly.
yeah. Tickets for the After Hours Boo Bash. Appropriate. They started, which is starting on August 10th and running on select dates until October 31st, opened for Disney resort guests and literally crashed Disney's phone reservation system for days. Long hold times to busy signals were some of the issues for people that were trying to snag some tickets. That hasn't even opened to the general public yet. That is opening tomorrow, June 15th, for the regular general public. This was just for people that were going to be staying at the Disney resort during that time. It's crazy.
And what were the prices? I mean,
I'll be getting to that here in
it's
a
insane.
second.
Like, bring your checkbook. Wow.
Yeah. Disney has added 5 more dates, and tickets go on sale to the general public starting tomorrow, June 15th. Prices for August and September start at $129 to $139 plus tax. October prices are $159 to $169, and on Halloween tickets are $199 plus tax. Crazy.
$200 to go there on Halloween.
I know.
That's insane.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And you know it's going to be packed.
Oh, absolutely.
You know it is.
People are going to, yeah. So annual pass holders and DVC members can save $10 per ticket for event nights in August and September. Event times are 9 p.m. to midnight most nights, with some nights in August and September from 9:30 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. And you can enter the Magic Kingdom on your ticketed night as early as 7 p.m.
There you have it.
Yeah, just, I don't know. I was kind of looking forward to going to it, but I don't know if I want to kind of spend that much. But
It's a lot of money, that's for sure.
But they are doing, a whole bunch of stuff with cavalcades and, free.
Could you
food
hit your mic
offerings.
one more time for me?
I could.
Because that's like the third time you hit your mic. I'm just saying.
I speak with my hands. What can I say?
Yeah, you speak with your hands, and the mic pays the price.
Yeah, well, sorry. But
Okay.
we might just have to bite the bullet and head on over. Maybe do it like the beginning of September if there's any dates available.
Who's
or
we?
something.
Do you have Ratatouille in your pocket?
You're gonna go with me.
Who's we?
You and me.
My God. Okay. Thank you, Miss Tanya, for
And
your
I think
Disney
we need
news.
to figure out some costumes. So,
Oh, yeah, costumes.
yeah.
That's a great idea. We should do that.
I think we
Bill
should.
doesn't need one. He's fine.
Okay, moving on. So, as you guys know, Mr. Dave Indy could not be with us.
We miss you, Indy.
Yes, we definitely miss you, brother. But we understand, like bills got to get paid, jobs got to come first, and it's not a big deal. We are going to have Mr. Indy back for the next podcast, unless something crazy happens. But hopefully we can bring back Ask Indy.
Yeah.
He's got some amazing stuff coming up. He's got lots of people that have ringed into him trying to look for answers for things. So we will bring that segment back next podcast,
Yay.
which would lead to our random topic. As you know, with the introduction to the Velocicoaster to Central Florida, clearly the biggest, the best, the fastest roller coaster to exist, and dare I say the country. I am a big fan of Velocicoaster, even though that I cannot ride it. I might be able to get away with it, but I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna take that chance.
No. That whips you around and everything too much for you, sweetheart. I'm sorry.
The need to go bigger and better with more and more extreme rides seems to be an ongoing, growing trend.
Yes.
And truth be told, if you look back to the history of roller coasters, it has always been a trend. There certainly is a ride race here in Central Florida to develop the next big thing.
Mm-hmm.
SeaWorld was known for a long time for their roller coasters. And of course, Disney has their roller coasters.
Mm-hmm.
But Disney's roller coasters can never be as extreme as Velocicoaster.
No, but I mean, Disney is also geared more towards children, and Universal is more towards like teens and, you know, adults and stuff.
Well, with that being said, the demand for the next bigger, taller, faster, and more extreme rides have created one of the most intense roller coasters that exist, and that is the Velocicoaster here in Central Florida. It's an intense ride, but I guess the question is it too intense? This is your random topic.
Random topic.
Now, before we get into this, let me premise this whole thing with the fact that to understand where we are in the roller coaster world, we have to go back. We have to go way back. The year is 1817. Jen was right out of high school. And
William.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
Really?
So the year was 1817. And the very first roller coaster that ever existed was the Promenades Adrenies. I'm saying that wrong, but it was in Paris, France, and it opened on July 8th, 1817. Obviously, the other end of the spectrum is obviously the Velocicoaster just opened up. But all parks all over the world, and here in the United States, you have these entertainment places, theme parks that pop up all over the country. Cedar Point, Six Flags, Disney, Universal, SeaWorld, the list goes on and on and on and on. And they're all in competition for the mighty dollar that's sitting in your pocket. So they've got to bring it. They've got to bring the biggest, the best, the fastest to attract the people to come ride these rides. But there has to be a healthy balance between pushing that edge. And as we all know with the Velocicoaster, somebody who's got a pre-existing condition and goes on the Velocicoaster, they're going to regret that decision instantly.
Yes, very much so.
Because the Velocicoaster doesn't play. Like, it brings it, right? And that's what they want. But then the downside to it is the people who have pre-existing conditions who don't use their brains goes on that, and then that's when we have instances. So I decided to look up what the ramifications is for jumping on these roller coasters with pre-existing conditions and the results from it.
Okay.
And according to allmetrics.com, in the United States between May 15th, 1994 and May 14th of 2004, their cases were identified of people getting hurt on roller coasters came from 4 data sources. The Consumer Product Safety Commission, LexisNexis, which is a famous investigation service, Medellin, and Safer Parks. Now, they all monitor these roller coasters and they collect data on how many people get hurt going on these roller coasters, how many people have conditions that they shouldn't have gone on the roller coasters, and how many people got on those roller coasters and got injured from the roller coaster. And it's very interesting because as they push that limit more and more and more, you're going to start to see more and more people put themselves in bad positions and get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Even though safety is paramount to a lot of these theme parks. And Universal is no exception. They went above and beyond to make sure Velocicoaster is safe. But they also went above and beyond to make sure Velocicoaster scares the shit out of you.
Yes, that
Right.
is an accurate assessment.
So here's some results. Here's some results from these case files. And it's very interesting. It's over that 10-year period. 40 people from the range of 7 to 70 years old were killed in 39 separate events. 29 deaths occurred on roller coasters. 11 fatalities resulted from external causes, related to injuries from falls or collisions. 18 were from medical conditions that might have been caused by exacerbating by riding the roller coaster. Now, for those of you who don't know, I was in a major car accident. I've got vertigo. I've got neck problems and all that other stuff. I'm smart enough to realize that if I go on Velocicoaster,
It's not going to end well.
it's not going to end well for me.
No.
Do I want to go on Velocicoaster? Yes, please. But it's not going to be something that is in my best interest. Continuing on with the results, 15 were intracranial hemorrhages or cardiac problems, and 11 were involving the employees that were caused by injuries. So the average theme park, this is interesting, the average theme park averages 4.5 deaths a year.
Okay.
Which seems high, but it could be like that
You
one
think
guy.
so?
Well, that one guy that did that one roller coaster, I think Rip Rocket, and he came off and had a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
There was another guy that did Kong, and he had a heart attack and died. So, I mean,
Yeah, 4 deaths a year doesn't seem to be a whole lot to me. I mean, it's unfortunate, but
yeah. And I don't want to be negative Nancy here, but I've got to address the issue, and that's the reason why I wanted to talk about Random Topic, because as much as these cool roller coasters are out there and they're pushing the limits and they're creating these experiences to people need to realize how serious this could become, especially if you have...
those warnings are there for a reason.
And nobody pays attention to those warnings.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, you could see all different kinds of stuff that are listed. Hey, if you have a neck problem, if you have a cardiac problem, if you have this, if you have that, if you have this, we don't recommend you ride these rides. And then you look at the line and you see all these old people, you see all these people that, like there was one time where I read the board, I turned around, there's a person with a walker trying to get on the ride. And if it wasn't for the employee going, we don't think this is a great idea, she probably would have tried to get on the ride.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would have had to deal with it on the back end when the ride was over and she was half dead.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, people aren't thinking. They're not using their brain.
Well, no, they just want to go. They want to have a good time. They want to be able to get on everything that they, can.
Right.
Which is great.
And if they're grandparents or if they're parents of kids, they have all these conditions or they have all these problems, but they don't want to tell their kids no because they can't go on the ride. So they suck it up, they go on the ride, and then they pay for it at the end.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I went on Rip Ride Rocket with my neck injury.
Yeah, that
and
did not go well.
I couldn't even walk.
Yeah, you had to sit down for close to an hour before you could even...
It's insane.
...function again.
So the whole point of this is to drive home the fact that if you have pre-existing conditions...
You have to know your limitations.
You have to know your limitations. And if you think that you can climb on Velocicoaster and be fine, you're going to be in for a world of you-know-what. Because the worst feeling in the world, and I could say this from experience, the worst feeling in the world is getting on something and halfway through realizing that this was a bad idea.
Yeah.
That is the single worst feeling in the world. Mm-hmm. Before my accident, I could easily handle Jimmy Fallon.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went on Jimmy Fallon after my accident. I was halfway through the ride and I almost got sick.
Yep.
I was halfway through the ride and I realized, wow, I'm not in good shape here. Mm-hmm. Like, I should not have done this. Mm-hmm. So just to drive home some points here. Be careful when you're getting on these rides. These rides are only going to get more and more and more intense. Mm-hmm. And these parks have a duty and responsibility to provide the best value and the best entertainment for you. But there are no limits to what they can come up with, clearly demonstrated by the Velocicoaster.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this thing is unbelievable. And it was designed to do one thing, to make you pee your pants, according to Tanya. So
that's an accurate statement, yes.
So as I was doing some research for this random topic, I was curious about, we talk about injuries, we talk about deaths, stuff like that, and they don't occur very often in these theme parks. They take safety very, very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
But deaths and injuries do occur.
Yes.
So I wanted to look up what the top theme parks rankings are as far as deaths and injuries. Now, the 5 parks we're going to concentrate on, because I couldn't do all of them because this show would be like 9 hours.
I was going to say, if you're looking worldwide.
No, we're going to talk Disney, Six Flags, SeaWorld, Universal, and Cedar Point.
Okay.
Those are the only ones we're going to talk about.
No traction park?
They would be number 1 on the injury list, that's for sure. According to Smart Advocate, which is a company that data collects all the stuff, over the past 10 years, and this is recent now, 2011 to 2021, right? What park out of all those I just read has the most deaths?
I'm probably going to say Disney.
I'm going to say Six Flags.
You would be correct.
There was 2 of us that answered. Who was correct?
I was pointing to Tanya.
Oh, okay.
So Disney, over the last 10 years, has had 24 deaths.
Okay.
With these gondolas, the number's going to go higher.
Just enough with the gondolas already.
Six Flags is number 2 with 7.
Wow.
SeaWorld is number 3 with 6. Universal is number 4 with 4. And Cedar Point, the roller coaster capital of the world, has only had 3. Hold that thought.
Uh-oh.
Because now we get to the injuries.
Okay.
And what theme park out of those 5 has had the most injuries?
I'm going to go with Cedar Point.
Jen?
Six Flags again.
Okay. Tanya would be correct. Cedar Point has had 120 injuries over the last 10 years.
Ouch.
Yeah, 120.
Wow.
Followed by Disney with 61. Followed by Jen's pick, Six Flags, 34. SeaWorld is at 18 and Universal is at 11.
Huh. Interesting.
So as these parks try to find a fine balance to extremism for their rides while managing safety, because they obviously don't want to be on this list.
Right.
How do they solve it? What's the answer? You know, I've heard everything from age restrictions to certain rides to additional warnings to even crazy stuff like medical screenings before you get on these rides.
They legally can't do that.
Well, they legally can't do a lot of stuff that they get away with. But all that's crazy talk. Okay? The issue that's developed, and this is the whole reason for the random topic, is that as these rides get more extreme, like the Velocicoaster, more and more emphasis needs to get put on the people who have either pre-existing conditions or the people who can put themselves in a situation where they can get hurt. You even said yourself when you went inverted on Velocicoaster that you were up against the lap bar. Why there's no shoulder harnesses on the Velocicoaster is beyond me. But you get the wrong size person in the wrong situation in the wrong seat at Velocicoaster, they're going to have issues. And it's only a matter of time before these numbers go up.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all I'm saying. They need to be very, very careful moving forward. And if you are a person that has a lot of pre-existing conditions, you need to be careful about which rides you go on. Because you look at Kong. All right, Kong messed me up too. But Kong is pretty extreme. I mean, for the average person, for the kids and everything else, Kong is just like, wow, that was cool. But for the older adult who's got a lot of problems,
Yeah, you do get tossed around and stuff.
Kong can be an issue, right?
Yeah.
And then you got all that peer pressure of your daughter wants to go on it. and you don't want to let down your daughter, so you go on it, and you really shouldn't be going on it, then you get what you get with that family who he had a heart attack and died right off the ride. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just a little PSA, something to consider.
Consider your family.
If you guys are coming down to Central Florida, I know the board is up there and everybody reads the little warnings, then they laugh and they're like, ha, 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 and then they just go on it. But those warnings are there for a reason. Mm-hmm. And some really don't apply because there's some rides that don't affect people at all.
Right.
And then there's some rides that are so extreme that people are coming off having heart attacks. But the sign on the heart attack ride and the sign that doesn't affect anybody are the same because it's a generic sign that's printed. So how do you know which ride is really, really bad for you and which ride you can handle? And over the years, it's become a problem.
That's a lot of common sense.
Well, you'd be surprised. Common sense isn't so common these days.
Well, that's true too.
And on top of that, I've been on rides where I've read that and been fine. Mm-hmm. And then I've been on rides where I've read that and been destroyed when I came off of it.
Right.
So you have to know the ride because they're just printing generic warnings and they're posting it on every single ride. Why? Because they're trying to cover themselves legally. Mm-hmm. Okay. But if you read the warnings for a Velocicoaster, they're clear about it. Look, this ride is going to fuck you up. And if you got issues, don't ride it. Mm-hmm. But everybody wants to be part of it. Everybody wants to experience that new thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's just human nature.
Right. But if Grandpa goes on it, he ain't ready for it. Grandpa ain't going to live through it. And that's what they got to be very, very careful about.
Yeah, but I think for the most part, people are pretty good at knowing their limitations and what they can and cannot go on. I know some people push the envelope and then that kind of ruins it, for everybody else. But I think for the most part, people know what they can and cannot get away with.
I'm just concerned that these numbers are going to go skyrocketing because people are not going to pay attention to what's going on, and they're going to put themselves in bad positions.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's a random topic, folks. I just thought it'd be interesting. Didn't want to go doom and gloom, but this is an interesting topic that I wanted to talk about because it doesn't get talked about enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a huge difference between Kong and bilge rat barges. There's a huge difference between Velocicoaster and Hulk.
Yes.
See what I'm saying? So even though Hulk is pretty extreme, it doesn't touch Velocicoaster.
No, because it's not nearly as fast.
And you're doing more loops and you're doing more inversions and you're doing more G's. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So there it is.
Just be safe.
Yeah, that's the important thing.
Yep.
So with that being said, we're going to move into sponsors.
Yeah.
And I'm going to talk very briefly about Rockstars and Flowers. You hear it every single podcast. Rockstars and Flowers is blowing up. If you guys are interested in getting a painting done of a rock star that you're in love with, contact Rockstars and Flowers. Visit them on their Facebook page. They are an up-and-coming group of artists, and they are absolutely mind-blowing. They just got done with a Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue.
Yeah, that
and
one was
it
pretty
looks
cool.
Amazing. They just had an order from the drummer from Guns N' Roses. He ordered 2 of them. They delivered their paintings to him, and that went very well. So I see them blowing up. I see them really going crazy. So if you guys are interested, we're going to post some pictures later on the UDN Facebook page. But Rockstars and Flowers has been and will be a very, very intricate part of this podcast. They're a great bunch of guys, and we certainly appreciate their sponsorship. But now I'm going to bring back the lovely Jennifer to talk a little bit more about future stuff coming.
Yay! What you got for us, Jen?
Well, first of all, I know we talked a little bit earlier about the Halloween Horror Night packages. I wanted to let everybody know we have started a new venture with Denville Travel. We are no longer affiliated with Castle Vacations. Denville travel encompasses a lot more of what I think we're looking for as far as offering travel services to our listeners and our members. So I'm excited to see how that goes over the next few months. So we will be able once again to start booking packages when they come open for the holidays, cruise lines, all of that fun stuff. So I'm really excited about that.
That's going to be super cool.
Yeah, we're looking forward to our partnership with them.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. So far, it's been great the past few weeks, and I'm really excited on what's coming up, and I'll have some information for you later, Tanya, that'll be exciting.
Yay!
Of course, it'll involve Bill's wallet, but...
Oh, of course it does.
When does it not involve Bill's wallet?
Oh,
I'm just here to pay for stuff. I'm convinced.
And a pretty face.
Oh, see, I get at least a pretty face.
She said that, not me.
Nice, Jen. Nice.
Our poor
we've got a lot
podcast
of
host.
new things that I'm working on with some new sponsors and affiliates. With that being said, our website's going to be down this week. We've got a big revamp overhaul happening with the way it's laid out and with how the marketplace is going to look. So once that's back up, I'll let everybody know, because we're going to have a lot of cool new ways to do things on the marketplace. But I don't want to talk about it until we get it set up. So just keep an eye out. You know, if you can't find something or the website is down and you're trying to shop, just shoot us a message on Facebook and we can get you connected with whatever sponsor you need. Other than that, I really don't have a lot with sponsors to talk about because all this stuff is still in the negotiation phase and trying to get everybody signed up. But we definitely have some cool things down the pipeline.
Nice.
That's awesome. And I want to take this moment to congratulate our 3 lucky winners to our UDN swag bags.
Yeah, we made it to 1,300.
We finally made it to our 1,300 goal, which is amazing. And 3 lucky winners won their swag bags, announced on UDN earlier in the last week, I think it was.
Yeah, last week. And one of the winners, actually, Celine, when I was talking to her to get her information, she is actually coming down there next month. Her son just graduated high school, so she's excited to get her swag bag.
That's awesome. That's very cool. Next swag bag number is
1,500.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, 1,500.
Yeah, only 200 people, and I know we're already well on our way. So
yeah, that's awesome. So congratulations to all the swag bag winners. We certainly are very, very happy for you guys. We love giving away stuff. So listen, folks, if you are part of the UDN family, invite. If you think people you know that could really enjoy our product and our content, invite them to the group, because once we hit 1,500, we're giving away 3 more awesome swag bags for everybody.
This is open to everybody, not just the new people.
Well, not everybody, apparently, Jen.
Wow.
So
no admin is allowed.
Right. But we will definitely do it, and we are going to continue to do it as we grow. And who knows, you may get lucky and win a UDN swag bag.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Bill, the other thing that I wanted to mention I forgot about is I posted a question on Facebook about who wants to do a UDN meetup. I would like people to answer that, because that will determine what we do. I'm hoping to have one planned in the next 6 months.
Okay, cool. We can definitely do that. We certainly want to try to meet up here in Central Florida with all our fans at UDN. And, far be it for me not to open up the tiki bar. You know what I mean? So, but certainly excited about that. We'll see how that goes.
Wow, this kind of sounds like he's wanting to be at our house.
No, it won't be here. We will make a portable tiki bar.
A portable tiki bar, okay.
So, awesome stuff coming from UDN. We certainly appreciate it, Jen. And I wanted to, before we take off, I really wanted to touch on one more thing, reinforced when we had our friends here in town. And this is something that I mentioned earlier in the podcast. I'm going to say it again because I think it's very, very important. When you guys come to Central Florida and you're visiting these theme parks, know a couple of things. First thing is, during the summer, it's extremely hot during the day. Mm-hmm. Mid-90s is the regular. during this time period.
And that's without the heat index.
Right. At times, it could get over 100 as far as the heat index.
Mm-hmm. It's
Okay.
very easy to get dehydrated very quickly.
And it's very easy to be sucked into the Disney and Universal magic and create an itinerary that is completely and totally unrealistic. And if there's anything that I can reinforce to the listeners out there, don't come down here and try to do a park back to back to back to back. You are going to hurt yourself.
Or if you do, at least plan some downtime, especially like in the afternoon when the day is at its hottest. Go back to, your resort, go swimming, try and stay cool, take a nap, whatever it is, and then go back to the parks for the evening once the sun has set a little bit.
Highly recommend that you guys take breaks. Highly recommend that you focus on health, because when you're in these parks, it's very easy to get distracted by everything that's trying to distract you.
Right.
And like I said before, the average person winds up walking 12 miles a day. And if that's something you do on the regular, you should be fine. But if that's not something you do on the regular at all,
especially in the heat,
you're going to have problems.
Yeah, the heat down here is not the same as it is like anywhere else out in the country. And
as Tanya said, you want to take breaks. I would recommend, if your schedule allows it, to do a park, have a down day, do another park, have a down day, and that will allow your body to reset. It'll allow your body to heal a little bit. Okay, walking around these parks in the heat and you're getting distracted and you're having ice cream and you're having soda and you're having all this fun stuff and you're not drinking water, you're going to pay the price. And these parks are going to chew you up and spit you out, and you're not going to be able to do anything, because by day 3, you're borderline dead and you can't function as a human being, and you're trying to go back to the parks because you spent all this money on these tickets, and you're committed at that point. Don't be stupid about it.
Yeah, keep in mind also that all of the quick serve places in both of the parks, in Universal and Disney, you can go up to the window and ask for a cup of ice water, and they will give you a complimentary cup of ice water. And
that's the key, folks, is you have to drink water regardless of whether the sun's out or not. You have to double your intake of water if you're walking around these parks. You literally have to double your intake. So if your regular intake is 8 glasses, guess what? You're drinking 16, and you're still going to be borderline. You have to be constantly drinking water to stay up in these parks. And there's...
Yeah, I was drinking about 124 ounces a day when I was going to the parks.
And there was other people in our group that didn't drink anything, and by the end of the day, they were being carried out of these parks. And don't forget about the kids. They need to drink water too. They need to stay hydrated. Yes, they have the energy that you probably don't, but their bodies take a toll as well. And heat exhaustion, heat cramps, they don't favor anybody. You know what I mean? That they'll hit every single person.
Yeah.
So if you're coming down to the parks, please, please, please be careful. Drink lots of water. Take your breaks. Make sure you're good to go. Okay? Little PSA from UDN. So with that being said, we want to thank Jen for joining us on the podcast. Certainly appreciate everything that she's brought to the table. Helping us out with Dave being out, working like a dog. And keep us up to date with that Universal news, UDN news. And we should have some amazing things coming down the line. So with that being said, if you're in these parks, have fun, be safe, drink lots of water, and we'll talk soon.
You have been listening to the official Universal Disney Nuts podcast. Please visit our website at worldofudn.com and join us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for all the latest updates, news, and events from your favorite theme parks. See you in 2 weeks.